So that's gonna do it for the month of May. It's a small town. So this one says one summer, two rivals, and a plot twist. A little bit of fantastical, and it's got... Hi everybody, it's Audrey and welcome back to Chapter and Converse, and welcome to another month of books that are coming out in the month ahead. So this is obviously for May. Of course, there's a whole bunch of books coming out this month. I don't know a lot about a lot of them, so I'm just gonna give you guys a little bit of a blurb, a little bit of a reason why I'm into it, and as always, a very, very small fraction of what's to come, but I'm so excited. Every month is just something new to look forward to. So we're wasting no time, and we are kicking this off with May 3rd with Book Lovers by Emily Henry. So I, like so many other people out there, completely fell in love with Beach Read by Emily Henry. I read it last year. I was late to the party. Nobody else is surprised. It's not a thriller. It's totally fine. I am not just a thriller person. I swear I'm not. But I read Beach Read last year and I completely loved it. And I have People You Meet on Vacation. I haven't read it yet. It's here somewhere, but I'm very excited for Book Lovers, and I'm not gonna lie, part of it is the writer part of it that gets me super excited. So this one says, one summer, two rivals, a plot twist they didn't see coming. So Nora Stevens' life is books. She's read them all, and she is not that type of heroine. Not the plucky one, not the laid-back dream girl, and especially not the sweetheart. In fact, the only people Nora is a heroine for are her clients, for whom she lands enormous deals as a cutthroat literary agent, and her beloved little sister, Libby. Which is why she agrees to go to Sunshine Falls, North Carolina for the month of August, when Libby begs her for a sister's trip away. So Nora is totally down for the small town vibes of it all, and it says she's convinced she needs to become the heroine of her own story. But instead of picnics and meadows or run-ins with handsome country doctors or bulging four-armed bartenders, Nora keeps bumping into Charlie Lastra, a bookish brooding editor from back in the city. It would be a meet cute if not for the fact that they've met many times, and it's never been cute. If Nora knows she's not an ideal heroine, Charlie knows he's nobody's hero. But as they're thrown together again and again in a series of coincidences no editor worth their salt would allow, what they discover might just unravel the carefully crafted stories they've written about themselves. So this one just sounds so deliciously fun. And like I said, I really fell in love with her writing in Beach Read, and a book about writers, about the writing industry. This is obviously agent editor, but I think it's just gonna be absolutely terrific, and I'm going out on a limb and I'm gonna say that I'm gonna love it, but I'm super psyched for it. The next book I came across like super randomly in my research, but it caught my eye because of Agatha Christie, and it's called The Agathas, and this is by Kathleen Glasgow and Liz Lawson. So they have both written other things before. I have not read any of their stuff, but this one is a mystery. It's YA. My understanding is it's the beginning of a series, but it has a little bit of just my interest is piqued in it. So this one says, last summer, Alice Ogilvy's basketball star boyfriend, Steve, dumped her. Then she disappeared for 5 days. Where she went and what happened to her is the biggest mystery in Castle Cove, because she's not talking, or it was at least. But now another one of Steve's girlfriends has vanished, Brooke Donovan, Alice's ex-best friend, and it doesn't look like Brooke will be coming back. So now we have Iris Adams enters the scene. She is Alice's tutor, and Iris has her own reasons for wanting to disappear, though unlike Alice, she doesn't have the money or the means. That could be changed by the hefty reward Brooke's grandmother is offering for anyone who can share information about her granddaughter's whereabouts. The police are convinced Steve is the culprit, but Alice isn't so sure, and with Iris on her side, she just might be able to prove her theory. In order to get the reward and prove Steve's innocence, they need to figure out who killed Brooke Donovan. And luckily, Alice has exactly what they need, the complete works of Agatha Christie. There it is. If anyone can teach the girls about how to solve a mystery, it's the master herself. But the town of Castle Cove holds many secrets, and Alice and Iris have no idea how much danger they're about to walk into. So, Agatha Christie, obviously. I love me the small town mystery. I don't know if Alice's original disappearance is a nod to like when Agatha Christie disappeared all those years ago and sort of the mystery of what happened then. Also, Castle Cove. If you guys have been here for a hot minute, you know of my low-key, high-key obsession with Murder, She Wrote. And there was an episode where someone who lived in the town wrote like a fictionalized version that spills all the secrets of the town called The Sins of Castle Cove, because the name of the town is Cabot Cove, in case you guys didn't know. So when I was reading this, I'm like, okay, this person like loves Agatha Christie. I'm hoping they love Murder, She Wrote, and it just sounds really good. So I am just completely intrigued by this book and I can't wait to read it, but it just sounds fun. It just sounds fun. And if it's the beginning of a series, I don't know, maybe it's gonna be kind of Good Girl's Guide to Murder type of vibes. I don't know. Or maybe it'll be like a little bit of, I think it won't be like Truly Devious because that was like a mystery in the past also. But I feel like maybe kind of a Good Girls vibe, or yeah, Good Girl's Guide to Murder vibe maybe is what it's gonna be. But we will find out. We will find out. Up next is May 10th. So the next book I have is Siren Queen by Nevo, and she wrote The Chosen and the Beautiful, which was sort of a fantastical retelling of The Great Gatsby, which I have but haven't read yet, but I can't wait to read it because I have it. And I reread Gatsby so that I could read it, so we're getting there. But anyway, this is her newest book. And it says, a dazzling novel where immortality is just a casting call away. It was magic in every world. It was a kind of magic. So as you can tell, she writes fantasy, which I like to dip my toes in here and there. And I just think this one sounds really fun. So it says, no maids, no funny talking, no fainting flowers. Luli Wei is beautiful, talented, and desperate to be a star. Coming of age in pre-code Hollywood, she knows how dangerous the movie business is and how limited the roles are for a Chinese-American girl from Hungarian Hill. But she doesn't care. She'd rather play a monster than a maid. But in Luli's world, the worst monsters in Hollywood are not the ones on screen. The studios want to own everything from her face to her name to the woman she loves, and they run on a system of bargains made in blood and ancient magic, powered by the endless sacrifice of unlucky starlets like her. For those who do survive to earn their fame, success comes with a steep price. Luli is willing to do whatever it takes, even if that means becoming the monster herself. So it says Siren Queen offers up an enthralling exploration of an outsider achieving stardom on her own terms in a fantastical Hollywood where the monsters are real and the magic of the silver screen illuminates every page. So it obviously is giving me a little bit of Evelyn Hugo vibes for the coming to Hollywood and the ambition and the willing to do things, and a deep look at Hollywood and how it was and probably how it still is. But it just sounds really interesting to me. And I've heard such great things about her writing, and shame on me for not reading The Chosen and the Beautiful yet, which I've also heard such great things about. But again, a little bit of fantastical, a little bit of sci-fi, just sounds like a fun time. This one wrapped up in a Hollywood bow, and then we're just gonna see where it takes me. But I also am just like low-key obsessed with the cover of this one too. I just think it looks so cool, but I'm very excited for this. And then I also wanted to mention, I talked about Dark Circles by Kate Dolan Leach last month because it was supposed to come out in April, I guess, but it's actually coming out in May. Things keep changing on us. So she wrote Dead Letters, which I also haven't read yet, but you guys, I have a plan. So I'll tell you about it when the time is right. But this one is also about an actress, and it says she turns to podcasting when she becomes entangled in a dark conspiracy at a spiritual retreat. And it's a new mystery about fame, violence, and our morbid fascination with murder. So I definitely need to read Dead Letters before I can pick up her next book, but I did talk about this in last month's and just wanted to correct myself because I guess the date changed somewhere along the way and I missed it. So sorry about that if this one was high on your list. But we've got a woman named Olivia, and it says she needs a break and she doesn't want to think about her name plastered on tabloids or be reminded of her recent meltdown on a Manhattan street. So she winds up going to this remote retreat in upstate New York called the House of Light. It's not a rehab, it's a spiritual center, a site for seeking realignment and personal growth. There will be yoga and morning meditation, soft bamboo blend fabrics, and crystals to snuggle. But things are not quite what they seem, it sounds like. So she finds out that there's darkness going on there, and she starts to look into it. So I need to read Dead Letters first. But if anybody is Kate Dolan Leach fan, let me know. Let me know. And then next up is The Murder Rule by Dervla McTiernan. So this was another one that I was not aware of until I started to do some research, and it obviously caught my eye, partly because of this blurb that says, compulsive psychological suspense for fans of Ruth Ware and Tana French. Ding, 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 ding. So this is a mother-daughter story. How perfect for May with Mother's Day. So it says one is running from a horrible truth and the other is fighting to reveal it. And it says, first rule, make them like you. Second rule, make them need you. Third rule, make them pay. Pulling my hair. They think I'm a young, idealistic law student, that I'm passionate about reforming a corrupt and brutal system. They think I'm working hard to impress them. They think I'm here to save an innocent man on death row. They're wrong. I'm going to bury him. That's the entire blurb. So I'm super intrigued. And like the little blurb on the front cover of the book, I don't know if you guys can see it. It says, no one is innocent in this story. And then the blurb on the top of that from Don Winslow says, diabolically clever and deeply moving. So I am not familiar, I don't know what accent that was. I'm not familiar with Derville McTiernan work, but I am completely here for it. And I mean, tell me Ruth Ware and Tana French rolled into one, popped out a book, and I'm gonna give it a go. So next up is May 17th. So first up is My Summer Darlings by May Cobb, and I loved The Hunting Wives. And I read that last year when it came out, and it was just like rich people behaving badly, desperate housewives set in Texas, just messed up women and drinking and choices and just completely soapy deliciousness of it all. And I just loved it. Man, those ladies were messed up. So I have super high expectations that this is going to be more of the same, and I can't wait. So this one is 3 lifelong friends plus a dangerous, sexy new stranger in town add up to a scorching summer of manipulation, obsession, and murder. A woman in the forest thinks she's going to die. I know he's coming back for me. So we have Jen, Kitty, and Cynthia, friends since childhood, as I already mentioned. And it says they're now approaching 40 and their lives have changed, but their insular East Texas town has not. They stay sane by drinking wine in the afternoon, dishing about other women in the neighborhood, and bonding over the heartache of their own encroaching middle age and raising ungrateful teens. Then Will Harding comes to town, moving into one of the neighborhood's grandest homes. Mysterious and charming, he seems like the answer to each woman's prayers. He's a source of fascination for Jen, Kitty, and Cynthia, but none of them are ready for the way Will disrupts their lives. As he grows closer to each of the women, their fascination twists into obsession, threatening their friendships and their families. When he abruptly pulls away, each woman scrambles to discover the source of his affection, but what they'll uncover is far more sinister and deadly than any of them could have imagined. So my first instinct is it feels very Witches of Eastwick, although I don't think there's any witchery vibes in this one, but I love that it just sounds like different but more of the same with The Hunting Wives, with just sort of like that same similar atmosphere and the women and their just the friendships and the drinking and the messed upness and the stranger in town and all the things. I just think May Cobb is just like such a fun writer, and I'm totally here for her stories, and I feel like they're totally perfect for, not that I go to the beach or do any of that kind of stuff, but like it's like a great summer afternoon kind of a read that you could just like dive right into and like gobble the whole thing up. So all that to say, I will be here for it. Okay, so the next book I was going to talk about, called One of the Girls by Lucy Clark, apparently is now coming out in June. So moving on. The next book is The Island by Adrian McKinty. So he wrote The Chain, which I loved. And that was like super crazy, great premise and like a completely off the rails story. So The Chain was someone's child gets kidnapped, they get a phone call, and they're told the only way to get their child back is to kidnap somebody else's kid, and you're a part of the chain. So how's that for some jargon messed upness of it all? But that was like a compulsive, crazy read. So I have been interested to see what Adrian McKinty would do next, and I actually won this book in a Goodreads giveaway in March. It's the end of April. Hasn't come yet. Supposedly it shipped. They said 8 to 10 weeks. I don't know where this is coming from, or somebody's gonna walk it to my house, but it's not here yet. I'm hoping it's gonna show up because I'm very intrigued about this book. But this one, it says, you should not have come to the island. You should not have been speeding. You should not have tried to hide the body. You should not have told your children that you could keep them safe. No one can run forever. I kind of love these blurbs that are so short and don't give you much, but like give you enough to have you in for it. So I'm guessing a family went on vacation to an island, and it sounds like a little I Know What You Did Last Summer, where they ran into someone quite literally, and I'm guessing madness is going to ensue. So I am completely here for it, and it sounds like people are making some choices and having to live with the consequences of them. So stay tuned. Whether or not I get it, really hope that one comes through in the mail, but I'm very intrigued by this book, and it just sounds like completely something dark and messed up that I would 1000% be here for. And then finally we have May 24th. I have Two Nights in Lisbon by Chris Pavoni. So I loved The Expats that he wrote, and I also loved The Accident. I had to think about it for a second. And I haven't read The Paris Diversion yet. My voice has also just gone completely cracky there for a minute. But this is his newest book, and it says it's a riveting thriller about a woman under pressure and how far she will go when everything is on the line. So it says, you think you know a person. Ariel Price wakes up in Lisbon alone. Her husband's gone, no warning, no note, not answering his phone. Something is wrong. She starts with hotel security, then the police, then the American embassy. At each confronting question she can't fully answer. What exactly is John doing in Lisbon? Why would he drag her along in his business trip? Who would want to harm him, and why does Ariel know so little about her new, much younger husband? The clock is ticking. Ariel's increasingly frustrated and desperate, running out of time, and the one person in the world who can help is the one person she least wants to ask. So another international thriller that is his sweet spot, and I'm just a big fan of his writing. He is another one of those authors that I've talked about on here that I haven't read recently, but I rave about how great his books are because I really enjoy his writing. I think they're just so well crafted, and they're smart, and it has that like international espionage feel of it all. And he does such a great job of weaving together stories. The Accident in particular weaves together so many different stories in such a smart way that I didn't see it coming, and I wasn't even looking for it. And I feel like in some ways, I mean, this book came out a while ago. I feel like it was like a little bit ahead of its time in what he was doing in the book, or maybe I was behind in the times in what I was reading. But The Expats is his first book, and it was the first one that I read, and I just completely fell in love with him and with that story. And I just think he's such a great writer and definitely worth checking out. So I would give him a go. This one is 1000% on my radar, and I'm excited that he has something new. So that's gonna do it for the month of May. And then just a heads up, as we get into the summer, things start a little bit slow, but then we like really ramp up, and my pre-orders start popping all over the place. So get ready for it. But let me know what you guys are most looking forward to in May. Have you pre-ordered anything? Have you read any of these arcs, any of that other kind of good stuff? And let me know what I've missed, of course, because like I said, so many books are coming out, and I'm sure I've missed 1,000 of them despite trying to do research, because clearly my research led me to books that were coming out in the month after. So my research is not going so well. But let me know. So thank you guys so much for hanging out and watching, and for being here, and for supporting me and my channel. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys really soon in another video. Bye everybody.